You're watching E.T.N, where we don't do news, we just talk entertainment. Share and subscribe.
Hey guys, welcome to Entertainment Talk Nation. This is Rob, a very old school video once again. We've had a lot of snow here in New England. We got another 18 inches. It's been a rough day, so it's kind of just chill, taking a little bit more of a personal approach to doing this video, which is the review for Walking Dead, episode entitled Them, episode 10. And I thought it was a solid episode. I think there will be people who might have a problem with this episode because it was very slow paced, but I liked it because it really gave us a different view on the group and their current struggles. I mean, they're pretty much there's nothing. They're scavenging for food, for water. I liked it because I thought it was because of the fact that it was a very different view on this group. I don't think we've ever seen Rick and the crew struggle to this degree. We've seen them struggle against other groups, have conflicts, but to be like this, in dire straits, I think this is something new. I can't recall when they were this desperate. And I think that's what made it such a good episode. It was a very slow-paced episode, but that also gives you an idea and the effect that they're slow right now. They don't have a whole lot of energy. It's bleeding hot. There's no food. Water is scarce, and they don't know what they're going to do. They know where they're going, but whether or not they make it there is the question for some of them at this point. And I thought that was portrayed very well. I thought it was portrayed very well. And, in the episode overall, I mean, we see that Maggie, Sasha, really struggling right now. Maggie, obviously, because of losing Beth, pretty much has no family anymore. Whatever remains of her family is gone. She's it. And Sasha, probably the same thing. I got to be honest. I didn't think Sasha would outlast her brother, but she has, and we see that she's very vengeful right now. She's not making smart decisions. And when you consider what Tyrese did a couple of seasons ago when he lost his girl, following the same footsteps, and that's why Michonne intervened. But that's how it is. That's how it is. This world is very brutal. It's not forgiving, and there's very little opportunity. And sometimes, even if opportunities come up, they're not a sure thing. You pretty much got to gamble with every decision you make. So I thought this episode did a good job of really conveying their rock bottom right now. We saw Daryl. He's another one that's trying to cope right now with Beth's loss because they spend a lot of time together. They did get closer. They had some pretty big moments together last season that brought them closer together. And he feels partially responsible for her getting kidnapped, even though what he did saved her. He feels responsible, so he's feeling a heavy guilt. And Carol obviously is there to try and make him feel better. And it's not easy. Norman Reedus' character, Daryl, is not exactly the one to go out and express himself. I mean, he has emotional bursts when he just can't take it anymore. But he is very, very, what's the word I'm looking for? He can take quite a few hits before he reaches a boiling point or boil over point, I should say. He's emotionally very durable, is what I was trying to say before, because we have seen him as a character go and carry a lot of weight for this group. He's like a silent leader. I consider him to be equal to Rick because he's very, he leads by example. He's a very silent leader, but he's still human. And there's only so much the human soul, the human emotion can take before you just got to let it out. With him, he still has a hard time letting it out in front of other people. And I think the fact that at one point he let it out in front of Beth, his emotions, I think that brought them a lot closer together. And so we see three characters really struggling and having a hard time with losses and dealing with their current situation. A lot of the other group is still obviously struggling as well. We didn't focus on them as much as these three. And, throughout the course of the episode, you see Sasha's very assertive. She's snapping at people, giving dirty looks to Michonne, telling Abraham, "You're not my friend." And I got to be honest, during that scene when she was killing the walkers, which was very dumb of her, I really thought that Abraham might bite the bullet because she had blood on her knife from the walker and in turn cut Abraham. But apparently that the chances of that happening are probably very slim. Looks like he might make it unless they pick up the next episode where they left off here and he gets infected later. We'll see, but I think he's okay. Probably the most interesting thing too about this episode, very symbolic. A lot of symbols, a lot of things, that represent whether or not you still have the faith to carry on, the drive, the willingness to survive. And I think probably the highlight of that was towards the end of the show when they're struggling to hold back the walkers. And while they're doing that, there's a tornado going by. And the tornado pretty much, in some ways, saved them. It did. It didn't hit the building. It didn't hit anything that, any portion of the building that they were in. But it left a trail of walkers stuck in trees when they came out the next morning. And, it's funny. I mean, anybody could try and criticize that. Oh, what are the chances? Actually, the chances are very good. Tornadoes are very unpredictable. The fact that it just shimmed by the house and made a path going down trees, that is very possible. So I thought they did a good job of using the elements and nature, not only to symbolize that there's still hope and that you don't have to lose faith, but also to really symbolize how tornadoes work. That's just how it works. That's just how it is. Not too many tornadoes in their area of the world. It does happen. We even get tornadoes up here every now and then. Very, very rare. But I thought it was cool that the way they did that. One thing about the show is nature. Mother Nature really hasn't played a pivotal role in the show like you would think. And I think that was something that was overdue. I'm glad that they chose to do it. And I thought it was very symbolic how the very thing that could save them or did save them could also kill them. Being out on the road, not having shelter, they were very fortunate that Daryl found that little hut. And I thought it was very symbolic that not only did nature save them by providing them water, but nature provided shelter. And in terms of, where they were, obviously nature didn't give them the hut, but the tornado took away the threat that they had to deal with. And, I think this particular episode was it was methodically on purpose. I think they had to make this episode that way if they want to convey how much the group is struggling. And some parts of the show of this episode were very depressing, unfortunately. But that's how it is. That's how this world would be if we had to face something like this. You can't trust other humans. You have to deal with flesh-eating monsters, and resources are bare. They're barren. They're hard to find. I thought them eating the dogs was probably about as rock bottom as you can get, and probably as rock bottom as the group has gotten at this point. But sometimes you got to hit rock bottom before you can get up again. And for some of us who do read the comics and know about the future, hopefully that's something that'll happen. But we'll see. A lot of things have changed from the comic. Obviously, the character at the end will be very interesting. Next episode makes it look like they're an issue, but I'm kind of hoping that's not the case. I really would like to get to a point where we're not consistently meeting a group that's going to cause trouble. We went from the governor to the terminus, and obviously the cops, which were not a big trouble, but that was a standoff that could have been a lot worse. Some people do think it was very, very much worse than what it should have been with Beth dying, but it could have been an all-out shootout in a very small hallway where nobody had cover and everybody died. So, but very, very solid episode, really delivering good on just how hard of a time this group is having, just how rock bottom they've hit. And I feel confident to say that it was shot methodically on purpose, because the group right now with little energy and resources is very methodical. I thought it was symbolic with certain elements of the show. And I thought that the sunrise at the end with Sasha and Maggie was a good indication that they're probably heading towards an upswing emotionally, letting go of her brother, speaking for Sasha, and Maggie letting go of Beth and moving on. And we'll see where things go. But it was a solid episode. Looking forward to next week. I can't say 100% certain that I feel that this person is going to be trouble. Again, once they edit these little trailers and videos, you can think one thing, but it actually is something else. So we'll have to see what happens. But 2 in a row. I'm very, very happy so far with the second half, and we got a ways to go, but it's looking good so far. So we'll see what happens, and that's it. Anyway, guys, thank you for watching this review. I greatly appreciate it. And for those of you who have been veterans on the channel for a while, you remember these lovely curtains from back in the day. I'll be back in front of the green screen the rest of the week, but I'm just kind of chillaxing after all the snow and too much shoveling. Way too much shoveling. I actually hired people to do it earlier, but you got to maintain throughout the day, so got to keep those cars free. All right, guys, stay warm for those of you who are also suffering from the storm. And until the next video, this is Rob signing off for E.T.N, where we don't do news, we just talk entertainment. Take it easy.
Thank you for watching E.T.N. Don't forget to comment, share, and subscribe. Join the nation's Facebook page to meet other subscribers or visit E.T.N's Facebook page and Twitter page. Links for all are in the description.